Our sages explain that when the soul leaves this world and ascends to the heavenly court, it is asked certain questions. This video can change your life. If you answer this, you will save your life and your soul, God willing. It's impressive. Listen carefully to what questions are asked. They ask, first, if you were honest in your business dealings. I'm translating all of this directly now. If you had fixed times for Torah study, and also they ask, and this is what we're mainly going to focus on, in Hebrew, it's called Tzipita la Yeshua. It would be, did you hope, I'm translating this freely, that the world would be perfect. More literally translated, it would be, did you hope for redemption, the Geula, the Yeshua? Now, if I translate it freely, it would be, did you hope that the world would be perfect? And this is what I want to focus on, because if you know how to answer these questions, you will save your soul. What does this Tzipita la Yeshua mean? You hoped that the world would be perfect. Our sage's explanation of this is impressive. When you hear the word, you waited for something, you might mistakenly think that someone, as the expression goes, sits around waiting. What does it mean to wait sitting down? It means doing nothing. There is someone who waits. There is someone who waits. He waits for something to come, but no. You waited is, as our sages explain, said in Hebrew as bejayeja, in your days. What does in your days mean? If your life was that, what does it mean? If you lived that perfect world through your actions, words, and thoughts. And that's what I want you to learn today. Because if you learn this and above all apply it, it will change your life and your soul. You will save your soul. It's amazing. We need to know that our soul is in this world for a certain amount of time, as God the Creator decides. Clothed in a body. Therefore we have a soul, a divine soul, that comes with a mission in this world, clothed in a material body. And the body is the vehicle of the soul. Our sages explain it's like a rider on a horse. The question you have to ask yourself is, who is running your life? The rider or the horse? What does it mean? The rider is the soul. Your inclination for good, overcoming challenges, wanting what is right, not being someone who just gives up. The one who only cares about what's important to him and takes the easiest path. The one who wants material things and leaves aside what is spiritual, what is ethical. No. The rider is the soul. The rider is the soul. The rider is the one who tells the horse where to go. Now go to the right, now go to the left, now we stop, drink water, eat, rest. That is, the neshama, yes, in Hebrew the neshama, the soul, has to tell the guf, which is the body, which in this example would be the horse, how to behave and not the other way around, God forbid. Therefore, this is the message I want you to have. For example, when someone asks a wise man, a very old wise man, he arrives in heaven and they ask him the questions I told you about. Were your business dealings ethical? And he says, yes, I really tried to be ethical in all my business dealings. Perfect. Did you have fixed times for Torah study? Of course. Perfect. Tzipita la Yeshua. Tzipita la Yeshua. Did you wait for salvation? And what does the wise man answer? He says this, he says, I did not wait. Every dark corner I saw in my life, I tried to light it up figuratively, metaphorically, to light a flame and illuminate that dark corner. Every sad person I saw, I tried to cheer them up. Every person who had a difficulty, I tried with all my strength to help. In my family, at my job, wherever I was, I tried to give my best and bring light to this world. In fact, that's what God wants from us. God doesn't want people who are just sitting and waiting for the light to come from above. No. What does God want? God wants a partnership with us. God gives us this world to be potentially corrected because this world is in potential. God created it imperfect with a very clear intention to be perfected. And this is the question they will ask you. Did you try with all your strength to perfect the world? Did you try with all your strength, with your thoughts, words, and actions to make this world better? Did you try to help the people around you in your family, at your job, in your studies, wherever you were, on the street? In any way, technically speaking, for example, did you give a coin or a bill, according to your financial means, to someone in need? Did you give good advice if you are someone who really has the ability to give good advice? Did you offer a good word of encouragement, of motivation to others? That is, how did you behave in this life? Were you a source of light, a beacon that illuminated everyone around you? Or were you simply someone who sat and waited for the divine light to come, metaphorically speaking? That is, for salvation to come. Not only do I refer to what would be the Gula, or total redemption on a global level, the complete perfection of the world. Obviously, God is not taking that place, of course. I'm referring to the Gula or Yeshua of daily life, of routine, to the salvation of everyday life. Did you give water to someone who was thirsty, as we asked? That's called a Yeshua Pratit, which means a personal redemption. Did you give water to someone who was thirsty, or did you give food to someone who was hungry? Or did you help someone in need with money, or give good advice to someone who needed guidance? In other words, how did you live your life? And this is the great message. This is the great message.
Before we continue, I want to share something truly unique, a piece of one of the most sacred places in the world. This is not just a souvenir. It is authentic earth that was rescued from being lost forever, certified, and individually numbered. Years ago, tons of earth were illegally removed from the Temple Mount and discarded as waste. Today, that same earth has been carefully preserved. This is not just jewelry or a keepsake, it is a tangible connection to history. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to receive yours with an exclusive 10% discount.
Now, if we zoom out a little, if we step back a bit from our personal lives and look at how God is managing the world today, we can see that this is also happening on a national level. For example, as you surely know, until just a few days ago, the people of Israel, thanks to God, with divine grace, we were able to overcome the evil of a radical Islamist terrorist group in Iran, whose primary goal was destruction. God forbid the destruction of Israel, saying it completely openly. Nuclear bombs, atomic bombs, bombs with a very, very clear objective. And you have to know that Iran and Israel don't have any kind of problem in the literal sense of the word. What does it mean that we don't have any border issues? We're about 1,500 kilometers apart. Economically, there's no problem at all. In other words, it's hate for the sake of hate. It's pure Judeophobia, pure anti-Semitism. Pure anti-Semitism, like Nazi Germany. In other words, it's an Amalekite attitude from Amalek, the people of Amalek. It's a people that when we left Egypt about 3,337 years ago, we were slaves in Egypt. God took us out of Egypt. And what happened? Amalek heard that God took the people of Israel out of Egypt. 1,500 kilometers more or less, 1,600 kilometers. Think about it. There were no tanks or planes like today. Think about it. He traveled all the way to the outskirts of Egypt to intercept the people of Israel on their way to Israel. Why? Baseless hatred. He had no problems with borders, economy, or geopolitics. It's hatred for the sake of hatred. Therefore, here the focus is on you, and on your nation, and on your city, and on your neighborhood, and on your family. How are you waiting for salvation also at the national decision level? That is to say, now we need to know that the Israeli people and the whole world are in a very, very, very elevated place in the history of the world. We are in biblical times. That is to say, biblical prophecies are being fulfilled. It's simply a matter of opening the Tanakh, the Jewish Bible, and seeing how the prophecies are being fulfilled. For example, the prophecy that the people of Israel would return to their land after 2,000 years of exile has been happening for some time now. But what's happening is that the land of Israel is going to blossom like a garden. It's happening. That we will eat the fruit of the land, as the prophet Amos says at the end of the book of Amos. That we will drink the wine from our vines or eat the fruit of our land. That is being fulfilled today. You just have to go to a market in Israel. What fruits, what colors, what aromas, what flavor, what wines. Israel is also thriving spiritually. There's so much Torah. How much Torah there is? In fact, the second question is, did you set aside times to study Torah? What does it mean to study Torah? Studying Torah means seeing what God wants from my life and what He wants from us as humanity. Therefore, here I give you this news, which is that you should know that redemption, even on a global, universal level, is happening today. The prophecies are coming true, and God is giving gifts to every person and nation, like He did with the United States. After seeing that David, metaphorically speaking, the people of Israel, David, fought against Goliath, which is Iran, which is more or less more than 70 times larger in territory than the land of Israel. It's about 10 times bigger, like 90 million people in Iran, about 10 times larger than the Jewish population in Israel. David rose up against Goliath, and with divine grace, with God's help, we overcame and broke through. We destroyed that nuclear threat for the entire world. Israel fights for good for world peace. When the Israeli pilot was flying over a nuclear base, know that this pilot, with absolute love for you, whether you are Jewish or not, dropped a bomb there. For what purpose? To destroy a nuclear base that endangers your life, your families, and your nations, even if you are thousands of kilometers away from Israel. Keep that in mind and be clear about it. Therefore, you need to know when we say Tzipita la Yeshua, if you waited for redemption in your life, in your days, you have to see, you choose for Israel, you choose for good. The struggle between good and evil is very clear. As we said, the United States saw that David defeated Goliath, and about a week after seeing how we won, they joined the war, thank God. Thank God, excellent. You need to know now, not only the United States, your country, or you as a person, or your family, your group, your family unit, what do they say? Am I on the side of good, or may God allow me on the contrary? And it's an opportunity that God gives each person at every moment to choose life. It's written in the Torah, Uvacharta Bachaim, and you will choose life. You will choose life. Therefore, here you have a spectacular opportunity to say yes. I pray for the people of Israel. I know they want world peace and are God's people who want the best for me, my family, and the world. They want to be partners with God and His creation and to bring this creation to perfection. Let's support la Yeshua, to hope for the Yeshua in a living way. Live it at every moment of your life. At every moment of your life. That is what we, the people of Israel, want. We are, as written in the Torah, Be'atem. I'll say it in Hebrew and then translate to English. Ve'atem tihuli mamleshet kohanim vigoy kadosh. God says, and you people of Israel shall be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. A holy nation that is basically holy. Holy. To sanctify this materiality, as we said at the beginning, for the soul to sanctify the body. That is, for the spiritual part to sanctify the material. In fact, the way it sanctifies it is impressive. For example, as I told you before, when a pilot from the Air Force of the State of Israel flies over and blows up an Iranian nuclear base, that is Mamlechet Kohanim Vigoy Kadosh. That is the secret of holiness for the Jewish people, which is how we make God reign in all aspects of life. Being spiritual, teaching Torah or studying Torah, and also the army of Israel is a revelation of the angel Gabriel. The angel Gabriel implies Gvura. Gabriel comes from the Hebrew word Gvura. It means strength, fortitude. The army of the land of Israel, the defense army Tzahal, Tzva HaHagana LeYisrael, the Israel Defense Forces, is a revelation of the angel Gabriel today in our material world. And that must be known. Every aspect of the state of Israel is an angelic emanation. For example, the Ministry of Health is an angelic emanation of the angel who, Raphael, which comes from refuah, healing. And so, every aspect of the state of Israel is, as Rabbi Kook said, Zeker Tzadik Bi Kadoshi Berja. May the merit of Rabbi Kook, Zeker Tzadik, may the great saint, the great righteous one, Rabbi Kook, protect us. May his merit protect us, he said. The state of Israel, I'll say it in Hebrew, then translate, is Kaise Hashem Ba'olam. I'm paraphrasing. It is the heavenly throne of God in this earthly world. That is the state of Israel. And that's what we want. We are in a process of redemption, both on a national level and on a global level. Therefore, I invite you personally, if you haven't yet joined my Israel Chai community, which means Israel Lives. I warmly invite you to join. In some way, if you join my community, what are you saying? You're making a statement, a declaration that says, I stand with Israel. What is my Israel Chai community? First, it's a community based in the land of Israel. What we have is basically online meetings, free courses for members. Good deeds for example, families of soldiers in Israel, for soldiers' wives, for soldiers' sons and daughters. Different kinds of help, both material, spiritual, emotional, different types of support. In other words, it's an amazing place. It's an organization that's a community that embraces you. There's a WhatsApp number. You can ask me questions personally, stay connected with me, connected with Israel. It's a golden opportunity you have today to choose life, and God willing to be part of the blessing that God promised to Abraham, our patriarch. Those who bless you will be blessed. I believe that every person who is part of my Israel Chai community basically joins what the people of Israel are meant to do, which is to be a light to the nations, to give light. What do? We teach Torah. We gather together. We teach Torah. There are courses, like I told you. It's a community embrace for many people who want to be connected with Israel and feel alone. How can I communicate with Israel? How can I be connected with Israel? Or ask me questions on a personal level. This is a community embrace that, God willing, you will have that merit. To feel that community embrace from Israel Chai. Israel lives. May everything be filled with many blessings and success, and may we have the merit to live. Bet Sipita La Yeshua our days, every moment of our life, to be connected with God, to do God's will through words, thoughts, and actions, aligned with God, and to be a pure conduit, pure to bring, God willing, the light of God to this world, illuminating the whole world. As we said, or lagoim, to be a light for the nations, success and blessings.